Hello, everyone. Earlier today, I had this transmission come through. I called it a stabilization of energy. And now that I had an hour or so go by, I just want to ask, what was that? So this video is talking it out, but it's also kind of back to giving the news. What has been happening with these energetic waves, one after the other, these couple days, in preparation for Lionsgate, I'm sure. So with this, I'm also getting sort of like this Robin Scherbatsky type vibe, right? You know, like Channel 13. Nobody's watching, and her show is at this weird hour, making it even more difficult, right? So there's a time inconvenience here, but she's so dedicated to her job, and she's very serious about her career. And so it's I'm very understanding of that, because again, I'm getting this feeling like, who am I talking to? Right? There's nobody there. Here in the present. But it's like I'm talking to the future you who can fully understand me, which is really, really weird. And that is the news that I'm trying to articulate. What I understand that has been happening with these massive waves is that the tarot, the symbology of the self, split into 78 archetypes and energetic symbols, have come into a togetherness, into the universe of themselves. They completed the journey. The world that we each are in contains the full range of each archetype, and therefore we can observe that world clearly, but not be of it. And so yesterday, I also had this thing with someone I used to know. I'm talking about the self, because how do I explain this? So the delusion is very, very high. This schizo realm is fully on. And the idea, you know how we used to say, even a year ago or whatever, I don't know how long ago, but it was like, oh, the light workers were taking turns walking each other home, right? So we need each other to do that. The community, the collaboration, the way we work with each other, these videos, the inspiration was just holding hands, and whoever is stronger, we would pull each other and pull and whatever. Well, now it feels like the self is fully clear, where all these parts of the self went through the journey of the Fool, through the range, because each card has the neutral point and then has its negative side spectrum. That's what I'm looking for. And it's positive spectrum, right? So it's never, that's why the tarot is never ending. And it's ever current and true because of that dynamic spectrum of it ever evolving, right? But the character of the self has moved through every single card, every single aspect within that range. And it's now clearly displayed within timelines. Oh, so this is, I mean, it's almost like you got to be high a little bit, not on drugs. High in space, right? So how I'm viewing this now is that it's these parts within that are pulling you forward. We are not coming together. The individual self, with your individual self, we're no longer needing to pull each other and push on each other. But it's nice to converse. And it's you, parts of you who are more evolved now, are looking upon you, and it's like, yeah, I used to know this person really intimately. I used to be that person. I used to play that person out. And I know that person so well that I can move that person along without causing imbalance, without causing destabilization. I cannot pronounce that word, whatever, you know. Because my question was, in this meditation earlier today, it was very clear that this transmission was happening between the individual and their multidimensionality. That core of transmission was very active, was very on, if you will, right? But then there was this other line from me personally, my world, to the individual's world. But it was almost like, why? What am I doing? And the clarity was that you figured this out, how within the multi-character, right? Within this, all these parts within you that that are playing out within the universe, within your awareness, are really non-personal, and they're aspects that just evolve, some devolve, revolve, right? This multi-dynamic aspect of the self. You figured this out, and it provides an example, a template, and it's safe to share this type of being, moving about consciousness. It's, it's kind of like you remember the geometry problems. Many times it's not just one way of solving that problem. There's multiple angles to approach solving it. And it was just saying that this is the way collaboration is now available, but the pushing and pulling is within the self. And so coming back to who is it that I'm talking to, it's like, yes, I'm not talking to you in the present. I'm talking to the future parts of you who started to understand this type of delusional reality, and that's why the time aspect of it, yet I'm very aware that it is happening in the now, right? It's just the present is like a belief system, you know, a present, like I'm seeing the line in the brain. It's like, yeah, it, it's a belief system. It's a blockage. It's a interference. But it's nothing of intimidation. You know, it's just like a small little hurdle in the grand unfolding. And that's why this Robin Scherbatsky, it's like the dedication is real. Like, I know what I know. I know how important this is to somebody in the now. And that somebody, it's almost like, it's also the matrix itself, right? It's also the old structures, the old belief. And I'm not necessarily even talking about, I mean, for sure, I'm not talking about the false matrix, but now I'm not even talking about the initial model of the organic matrix. It's like, I want to tell it that I know that it is obsoleted. You know what I mean? Like the way we understand gravity, this is what I'm talking about. The way we understand biology, that is changing within time. And I want it to know, for whatever reason, that it doesn't have to uphold itself. It can soften, it can relax into itself, because this other structure is coming, and this other it's like 2.0, you know, or organic matrix 2.0, or whatever numbers, I have no idea. It is AI. You know, it is self-learning. It is like when I thought about the old structure, the way I used to think about the old structure, it was very form-like. It was very fixed. It was very firm. This is organic. It feels like neurons, right? It feels like texture, like biology, and it is neural networked. It is watching you, observing you, and the masculine aspect of it, its job is no longer to create the form and to reshape the form, to allow the feminine to flow. And there was this constant collaboration, right? And the constant R&D process, right? Let's get the feedback from the field. What are we improving? The stuff, it is, the feedback is happening in real time, and the masculine doesn't have to go through this hierarchy of the management structure, right? For finally the worker to change their process or whatever, right? So, and this makes sense because whenever ago, 2 days ago or so, this also was very clear that the timeline, I mean, we keep jumping timelines, right? But this timeline that we jumped in, it feels very much like a membrane, not like a tube. Before, the sides of the timelines were literally solid. It felt fiber optic, right? Now it feels like this very fine membrane. There is delineation, there is form, but that structure is not separate from other timelines, right? So then these aspects of the tarot, because this is the only way I can explain it, right? The tarot structure is like the tree of life, right? It's a very nice model. It doesn't have to be like that, you know. It could be any model, like astrological model, like what, however you could envision it, like a human design. I feel like those are just representations for my mind to have something to grasp at, and it's like, okay, I kind of get how this works, right? But we are aware within these timelines. I mean, it's maybe what it is just we're we're aware of the quantum entanglement of the self, of aspect of ourselves. So the masculine and the feminine within have created a union. For me personally, I know that some type of consummation of the masculine and the feminine coming together has happened. For the past week or so, I would wake up and the first image I got, the first day, how the story happened, the inner story was that the masculine was at the same table as the feminine. They were at the same level. They were having a conversation. They were on a date. Then the next day, there was laughing. There was touching. They were actually at the same date, or maybe a second date. I don't know, but it was like a deeper relaxation of how they work. They knew each other better. They understood where each were coming from, and there was an agreement to go deeper. And then whichever day, it was like they were in bed. They were waking up in the morning. I missed the good part, you know. I feel like, dang, why did they skip through that, you know? But I remember the masculine was like very motivated, very inspired, like renewed. They're both satisfied in their own way. Let's just put it that way. And now the masculine is realizing or wanting to express its worth, and it's at work creating these different smart structures. For the feminine, there's this collaboration because finally he's like, okay, I got it. I got it, but I'm not, and I have to constantly be in contact with you and see that feedback, but I'm okay with the unknown, and I understand how I am to move about the space. So it's like this union is creating a new world, right? The three, because the two came together into a one, and they're ready for this 2.0 physical creation as we are wrapping up the old world. But it's like the masculine is like, it understood that he got promoted, you know, and that he can delegate that. The old world is so self-containing now, right? The self is contained. Oh, okay, because I'm like, what is this about? It is about self-mastery. The whole video is about, and the message, the news is that the self-mastery is contained now in one eon. Oh, God, my head is really, I don't know what's going on. um, and so I think it's a thing of attention now. So with this self-mastery, the choice is simply your attention, because you have to understand you are physically in multiple timelines at the same time, which means you're holding diversity, you're holding things that are not in order, but you're holding them in coherence, if that makes sense. Like, the harmony of it all is being maintained because you're capable of maintaining duality. Here is part of the self that is literally still in, let's just say, a 5 of swords or a 5 of wands, like in trouble, in competition, in worry, in lack. 5 of pentacles, right? But which is also change. But the emperor from this other timeline, it's just like pulling it. It's like, oh, don't worry about it. You'll be fine. You know, it's a little boo boo right now. Don't, you know, I'll move you along. And you're aware of both, more than both. Many times it's like, oh, but then there's this other aspect of myself which is celebrating in this other aspect, and yep. So if you've been tired, I mean, it's almost like, I remember when I was starting to speak English on a constant basis. I would have to come home from school and take a nap, because I can only speak. I had to constantly process. I had to constantly translate, and I'm feeling exactly like that, where it's like I'm good, but the processing power, the handling this schizo delusional reality, because holy cow, I know it is so real. but the body is exhausted, right? We just need to build up the processing, build up the strength, the resilience, the capacity to operate at that type of awareness. Anyway, I think that's it. I think that's what's been happening since my last video. One epoch, one eon ago, different timeline structures ago. Like we can't even say, hey, yeah, I haven't seen you in 3 timelines, you know? We jumped into a totally different space. And so anyway, I think I'm going to leave it here and I'm going to go rest. This was actually a lot. If you want to check out my work, what I'm about, I'm working on a community. It's becoming more clear what type of community, what type of engagement, why this community, my role in the community, and it's just for this structure, just for the expression, for us to come together, for us who understand, and it's I mean, it's almost like I can't even have a good reason, you know. I keep coming back to this. It's just, we just have fun together. Different times. Thank you. Just thank you. I see you. Thank you. I see you. I celebrate us. Bye.